Hi, welcome to The Farmer's Daughter. Today we are going to be learning how to grow a tomato plant in the house over the winter in a cold environment like I have here in New England using a hydroponic method called the Kratky method. All you're going to need are a few common household items and maybe a few odd household items such as a brown paper bag, a cutting board, a ruler, a pool noodle, a larger glass jar, some hydroponic nutrient solution, some tape, rubber band, serrated knife, scissors, an electric toothbrush, bear with me here, and a light with a grow light in it. And of course, your seedling. So to get started, we want to cut up our pool noodles so that way we have, so actually I'm going to back up a little bit. You're going to want a jar that's about 2 inches in diameter because your small pool noodle is also 2 inches in diameter. So you're going to cut roughly about 2 to 1.5 inches of your pool noodle. And that is going to give you your plug as well as how it's going to hold your tomato. And then you're just going to slice on one side, kind of giving you like a little Pac-Man, like a little mouth. And then on another one, you're going to take out just a little tiny cross section. So you have basically a plug to go in that. And I'll explain later why you need that. You're going to need your brown paper bag, and you're going to need your ruler so you can determine how high your jar is, because you want the brown paper bag to be able to cover the entire jar. And I already had measured this out and pre-cut my paper that will cover my jar and will fully go around it. I have my tape and my scissors that I use to cut it. So first we're going to start off by mixing your solution. Now this solution that I have, if you read the directions, it calls for 1 tablespoon of solution for every 5 gallons of water. So I already have that mixed into where it goes into this 2-liter bottle. And this is the nutrients that my plant is going to be eating, if you will, absorbing through its roots over the next coming months. So I'm going to fill my jar with that fun sound of plop, plop, fizz, fizz. There is no fizz. So I don't want it all the way to the top because I need to have room for my pool noodle. So I'm going to set that aside. And now I'm going to wrap my jar. I'm going to actually put that over to the side, and I'm going to get my tape ready before I do that. Let's see if my tape dispenser even wants to work. And I'm going to go ahead and put my tape there, so that way it will be easier to wrap around. So you're going to pull it to make sure that it's nice and tight and secure. So it should be able to come off and on like a little sleeve. Now this is where your rubber band comes into play. Oh, there's my rubber band. So you're going to take your rubber band, whether it needs to be twisted or not twisted, and you're going to put that around the top of your jar, around your paper bag. Basically, you want to keep any light that may be going into your bag away from that solution. Otherwise, algae is going to grow, and the algae will end up eating up all of those nutrients rather than your plant roots. So now that we have our growing jar, we're going to take our little holder that we made, and we're going to slide our seedling in there, and you can see it's already got a nice root system started. And then we're going to put the plug in, basically holding that seedling in place. And now we can put this in the jar. We're going to press it in carefully. And as you can tell, I overfilled it a little bit already, so I've got a little bit of spillage, but that's okay. Now, what is great about this is going to hold our seedling in place as it continues to grow. And this foam is going to have some give. So as the stem of our seedling grows, it will have some give to allow itself to grow. And once it actually grows large enough, we'll actually be able to remove that plug as the plant gets going. And through the paper bag and our new growing device, no light is going to get in to grow that algae, so our plant will get the full benefit of all the nutrients in this jar. So now I'm going to be sitting this in a west side or southern side sunny window. I happen to have one in my dining room, but to aid that, because I am going to be growing this over the course of the winter, I will be hanging my grow light. So I just took this basic light that I used to use when I was hatching baby chicks, and I've now put a grow bulb in it, which I found at my local garden store. You can also probably find them at Walmart, Amazon, wherever you want to get them. And I will be hanging that, and I will be having that over my plant for at least that 10 hours a day, because they're going to need that 8 to 10 hours of sunlight. So even if it's a cloudy day or the rays are not strong enough to go through my window, my grow light will take care of that. So now I can put this in the spot in my dining room where it's sunny, and I can watch and monitor this throughout the months and wait for fresh tomatoes in December and January and February. Now you're probably thinking, hey farmer's daughter, you didn't use the toothbrush. So what I have here is another plant that's a little bit further on its way. This one I actually did not grow from a seedling. I took this plant off, it was a stem off of another tomato plant, and I have had it sitting in the growing solution for only 3 days now. So it was a little bit sluggish and kind of sad looking when I first snipped it from the plant and brought it in, but it has been absorbing the solution, and as you can tell, it looks beautiful and healthy now, and it is already starting to grow at least 2 little roots. Now on a tomato plant, all of these little fuzzy hairs that line the entire stem, all of those are potential roots. All you have to do is give them the moisture and the nutrients, and they will grow those roots. So that's what I'm going to be doing with this one, giving it a little bit of a head start. And in my area, I'm going to have a frost probably any day now within the next week to 2 weeks, and this tomato plant would have completely died. So I saved one of the healthy stems off of it. Now, on this, I actually have 1, 2, 3, 4 little buds that have already started. Now, if you're wondering, how am I going to grow tomatoes in my house over the winter when I don't have bees to do this? So a tomato plant is one of those amazing, interesting plants that the bud has both male and female parts of the flower. So they are capable of self-pollinating. They just will need a little bit of assistance. And that's where the toothbrush comes in. So I am actually going to be the bee, and instead of being able to have a little waddling body on my plant, I'm going to take my toothbrush and I'm going to turn it on, and that simple vibrating and touching that to the stems where the flowers are will be a little bit of enough, will just be enough of the vibration to move that pollen from the male parts to the female parts, pollinating these blossoms. Now I still have additional blossoms on here that haven't quite opened yet. So I will be doing this for a few moments every time one of these blossoms open up. You can't see this on the film, but when I got close to that blossom, I actually saw a little tiny poof of pollen come out of that flower. So that also was another way to let me know that what I was doing was successful, that I have pollinated this little bud here. So in the coming weeks, while it sits under my grow light, I'll be able to watch and monitor how that little tomato grows and fertilize, or rather pollinate, other little buds as they happen. So if you love growing tomatoes in your garden over the summer, why not try growing tomatoes inside hydroponically over the winter? All you need are these few items. A lot of these I had at home already. I basically only spent $5 on my solution, and a tablespoon does 5 gallons. So that's gonna last me all season long, as well as my grow bulb. The rest of these items I had laying around the house. So stay tuned as we follow these tomato plants and see what happens.